historical fiction and fantasy. They got a lot of facts wrong, but it's kind of cool. It takes place in around 793 AD, and it's about Jack and his little sister Lucy after they are taken captive by berserkers, who are basically Vikings. And so they are enslaved, which is historically inaccurate since Vikings almost never took slaves actually back then. But because there were too much work on them and they took up too much space. But Jack is taken hostage by Olaf Onerbrow, and Lucy is taken hostage by his young shipmate Thorgil, who ends up turning out to be a girl, which is kind of a twist. And so, along the way, before the adventure starts, Jack is on his ship, the Bard, kind of a crazy old guy who sings songs, writes poetry, and does magic with the life force. And then, so, before that, so he starts learning magic, and he's kind of halfway through his training when he gets captured by the Vikings. Halfway through his training when the Bard gets attacked by a nightmare, which is kind of a really disgusting 8-legged horse creature, I guess. And Frith, the half-troll queen, who was so annoying apparently that she got kicked out of the troll world Jotunheim by her mom. And so yeah, he's halfway through his and then the Bard goes crazy, or so it seems. And then so he and Lucy are outside and kind of hiding for some reason, and then Lucy, who is crazy because of her dad's stupid stories, yells out, "My knights, take me to my castle!" And when the Vikings are there, and the Vikings pick them up and take them with them to wherever the Vikings live. And so they're made slaves and taken to a slave market, and then Lucy is going to be Lucy is kept because she's going to be given to Frith, the crazy queen. But Jack is going to be sold off to to one of the Picts, a tattooed person. They were kind of creepy and were to eat people, I guess. But Jack convinces them not to tell them by telling the Vikings that he is a bard, which is a skald in their world. Apparently that's a high honor, and so Olaf keeps him and orders him to write a song about him. And so that's why Jack's alive for the first half of the book. So after that, they end up going to the Vikings' homeland and giving the treasure selling the treasure and stuff. And so then Jack meets Dottie, Lottie, and Heidi. Heidi being the same one of those three. They're Olaf's wives, and as my English teacher describes them, Dottie and Lottie are the roundest flat characters in the book. They're like kind of there for no reason. And so yeah, it turns out Olaf has like 12 children. Kind of scary. And yeah, so after that, they go to meet Ivar the Boneless, their king, and Queen Frith, the crazy half-troll queen I was talking about earlier. And so Jack sings Olaf's praises, and then the queen wants to keep him as a skald, like take him from Olaf. And Olaf says, no, that's not going to happen. He's in my skull. See the collar? He's my slave. And so, but the queen persists and says, I want him. And Jack says that he'll sing her praises in exchange for staying with Olaf. And so he sings her praises, and then he accidentally sings her hair off, like literally. She goes bald and kind of shifts forms a little bit. And so that's the start of Jack's real quest. He has to go to the Spring of Mimir, weird name, right? And which will give him amazing powers. And so he goes on a journey, and he comes with Thorgil and a few other people, and they fight dragons and trolls and giant spiders until they meet the Norns and get water from the Spring of Mimir, which is basically a bunch of god spit. And they drink it, and they go back and get Lucy. And then the last few pages are basically them going home, but on like chapter 40 or so, they show Thorgil coming up with a poem, which girls are not supposed to do then. And the poem is, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and hit and broke his crown, and Thorgil came and Jill came tumbling after. And it makes sense because Thorgil's real name is Jill, and when they went to get this water from the Spring of Mimir, Jack actually fell down, and Thorgil fell down right after him. So there you go, that's their explanation for that rhyme. And at the end, they go back and meet with their family, but I have a feeling it's not quite over. Well, overall, it was a pretty good book. Started out kind of boring because Jack was such a jackass.